beautiful fall night in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and the Avalanche in less than 24 hours have made their way north to take on a Flames team that has high expectations for 2022 and 2023. And Peter, Nathan McKinnon and Nazem Kadri will see plenty of each other here tonight.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the matchups go for this Calgary club. They feel now with the addition of Kadri, they're as deep down the middle as any club in the Pacific Division. And for the Avalanche, they've got Nathan McKinnon, so they are ready to go.
McKinnon will take the opening draw against Lindholm, who had a phenomenal season last year for the Flames. And we are underway. Taken by Anderson as he slides it ahead, deflected by Taves, and now Arturi Lehkonen will lob that one into the Flames zone. Markstrom, second in the Vezina voting last year in the National Hockey League. Led the NHL in shutouts with 9, played that puck early on, and here come the Flames with Huberdeau. Far side in his shot, what a save by Francouz as he made a great push on Toffoli. It's funneled ahead to McKinnon, and he's off to the races. Anderson with a good back check, able to get a stick on that puck, but the Avs will maintain control. Nichushkin throws that one off his skate, and the Flames will bring it out into the neutral zone. Here's Dubé all the way to the front of the cage, and a poke check. That puck is over the top of the net. So the Calgary Flames attacking the Avalanche zone early on in this one.
They are coming with speed, Moshe. They know the Avalanche. They know exactly what time the Avalanche got to the hotel last night. 3:45 in the morning because of all the fun stuff that was going on in Colorado. And they're going to come out this first part of this first period, and just push the pace.
I thought I saw an intern out there with his stopwatch at about 3:45 a.m. Here's Mangiapane. He'll try to spin away from Cale Makar, who's been out there quite a while on his opening shift. And that one's sent up top and a long wrist shot. Hit a body right in front of Francouz, and that will spring Alex Newhook. And we have a penalty coming up, and we've got matching minors on the play, I believe. Tonight's matchup in terms of the goaltending, Pavel Francouz, the Avs #2, will get the start against the #1. We just talked about it, Jacob Markstrom, a great year last year.
Great year last year, Moshe, but for Pavel Francouz, we've talked about it. On top of that 15-5-1, throw a 6-0-0. So he was 21-5-1 for the Avalanche. But Jacob Markstrom fell apart in the series against the Edmonton Oilers, and it was just strange goals and inopportune times. So he's got something to make up.
Manson and Dubé each in the box. We got a slash, we got a cross check, we've got anger already early in this one. We're just 1 minute and 21 seconds in.
Moshe, is there any question this is one of the clubs that people think can make a run at the Avalanche and maybe beat them in a series?
Well, they think if things go right for the Calgary Flames, that can be the case. Bowen Byram in the 4-on-4 tried to work it down the slot. Score! Bowen Byram to the front of the net, stayed with the play, and he's able to slide it through the wickets of Markstrom. The Avs have the early 1-0 lead. Byram's first of the season, and the young defenseman would just not give up.
And Moshe, I'm sure that you get tired of listening to me say it. But look at the Avalanche. What is Bo Byram doing? This is the defenseman, a 4-on-4. He's pushing the play. The Avalanche defensemen have no fear. They absolutely go all night long, and they make it so impossible because you're trying to read the play like normal. Like, okay, when is Bo Byram going to pass this puck? He doesn't. He just keeps going.
Boy, what a unique young player he is, too. I mean, in many different ways, loved by his teammates immediately as a very, very young guy. And he gets his first of the year as Makar retreats and fends it off now for Taves. That first Avalanche goal presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Your first bet is on Caesars. Bet up to $1,250, and if you don't win, you get it back for a free bet. Conditions apply. You must be 21 and over. That puck deep into the zone as Kadri will play it off now for Mackenzie Weegar. Not a forgotten piece in the deal for Tkachuk, Peter, but he was an added piece that the Flames really wanted. Stick handling is Kadri, and he's wiped right off that puck, and it's sent ahead to McKinnon. He's got Girard with him in a 2-on-2. They will scissor at the blue line. Fed off for Sammy G, and a backhand shot just wide. Right there. Already the defensemen are activating for this Avs squad.
The Avalanche know that you can't anticipate how much speed you can get when the defensemen are jumping up into the play all the time.
And I think defensively for the Flames, when you see two guys coming at you and one of them's a D, you think to yourself, well, maybe we have this contained, but the Avs D can all skate really well.
And you look at, I got more phone calls. What are they doing on the power play? What are those three defensemen on the second power play unit for the Colorado Avalanche?
They moved the puck well last night as Anderson will find that red line and snap it in. Francouz steering intently to the near corner, already with a great left pad save here in the early going of this one. And now Byram is chased. Tried to shed Colton. Here's Comfort. Can't get it out of the zone as Hannafin picked his pocket. And now EJ, who played very well last night for the Avs, threw it into the neutral zone. The Flames right back in, and that's no harm there as it's deflected over the top of the net. Calgary does have 2 shots on goal. The Avs only 1, and they scored on it. Byram's tally. Here's Evan Rodriguez. A couple of penalties last night for number 9. Into the play comes the youngster Ben Myers. And he stripped Backlund with a nice stick there.
And for Rodriguez, it was a tough night. Took 2 penalties, and Chicago scored their 2 goals while he was in the box.
Flames on the attack with Rooney. That's dumped wide, and now Francouz will play the puck for the first time for the season. The car had it swiped away as Ritchie applying pressure on the forecheck. Lucic trying to outrace Girard. Lays the hit behind the net. The crowd here reacting to that, and now the Flames getting a little bit physical. But the Avs come away, and now Valentin Chushkin. A couple tallies last night for number 13. Nice Picard to stop on a dime there, but he was bodied up, and that puck is up and out. And again, if anybody had any questions about what Valentin Chushkin means for this team and what he was going to do after his new contract, Pete, last night he just threw 2 in the back of the cage.
I mean, he was just too big in certain situations. I mean, the Chicago Blackhawks were a club 5'10", 190 pounds. That's their average, and he just ran over top of him.
Just barreled his way through as O'Connor sends it ahead. Cogliano will let that one go to Byram, and the Avs are onside. Uyghur with a slam up the boards and out. Almost 5 minutes elapsed here in period number 1. The Avs with the early 1-0 lead as Dubé finds tandem. Now it's Mangiapane. Slap shot, and that missed by a mile, and ricochets back out of the zone. Flames will try the left wing again this time with Backlund. When Byram throwing his body around in the corners, that puck will squirt free. Lewis hovering far side and reverses. Waiting patiently is Hannafin with a long drive, and again that hit a body right in front and never got to Francouz. That one does, right at the post, and there's another kick save. Well, the Flames used to be notorious for the first 10 minutes in the contest in this building. Shot at his save by Francouz in his catching glove. He'll hold on. Well, Avalanche fans, let's see what it's going to take to ensure the win. It's all presented by AAA Insurance.
No longer is it we want to be the champions. Now it's we are the champions. Every single building they go on into the Avalanche, we're the building. We are the champions. Beat us. And play a loud game. It was so interesting listening to Coach Bednar say some of the guys that didn't make this club did not play a loud game. They didn't in the exhibition games, in practice. And you look at McDermott last night. He gets his first opportunity. 10 minutes, 9 hits. He's back in.
He was throwing his body around for short, giving up in the high slot. That one slips right through Hannafin. Anderson will drive it back in, but again, it used to be the reputation with this Calgary team, Pete. First 10 minutes you had to survive because they came out like gangbusters, and they're trying to attempt the same thing tonight. The Byram tally has taken a little bit of steam off, but now Huberdeau gives it up, and there's a shot by Zadorov, not free, stopped at the post, into the blue paint, and it comes free. A drive, and that was blocked away by Rodriguez, and the Avs living dangerously but surviving on that flurry to the front of their cage.
How did that not go in? I mean, that's Moj. It was the guy. They pulled it around. The net was wide open.
Francouz was bailed out as the Flames on the attack again, and there's a glove save, and will bring us to our first time out of the evening. Well, it's the Avs with an early 1-0 lead, but the Calgary Flames are pressing the issue. Oh, what a save there by Devon Taves right at the goal line. Stick with us. We've only just begun in Calgary.
His stick on it. That's unreal.
Toffoli tried to tuck it, and right downstairs was Katie Gauss with a really good look from that corner, KG.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with Francouz. That puck was just edging on the goal line. Really athletic play to get his glove back, and then credit to the defense, getting those bodies in front of the net, making sure that no second shots got through.
Toffoli just couldn't tuck it with the backhand, and Taves was there. Francouz, as you said, Katie, incredibly athletic. And very comfortable as Colorado Avalanche loves playing in Denver. That puck hammered through the Calgary native. Logan O'Connor, who brought the cup back to Calgary this summertime, Pete, and shared it with everybody. Here's Nikita Zadorov, the former Avalanche, to the low slot. And that one skipped right through Backlund. Brought ahead O'Connor. Feeds it off. Cogliano with a shot. Saved by Markstrom. Good opportunity for the Avs right there, and a good looking developing play. Now here come the Flames. We've got a track meet now. Backlund couldn't get through McKinnon. That puck poked free. So right now the Avs just barely catching a break in their own zone. The sticks at the last moment.
Yeah, there's been several A1 chances for Calgary. They have come out with a real purpose in this game.
Up it comes for Rantanen. Flames turn it right back to Nazem Kadri. Cross-ice pass, shot, and a save by Francouz. Mangiapane ran out of real estate but got that shot off. The Avs allowing several odd-man rushes here in this first period tonight. Jerry Bednar will want to cut those down. Sure, it'll be something that he talks about. And there's a good defensive play. We know that Kadri is a 200-footer.
No, there's no question. He is going to bring an element to this club that Tkachuk had. Went to Florida, but Kadri is going to fill that void.
Now Nichushkin with a power move, and that one goes through the top of the crease. Stoppage in play, and the net is off its moorings in the Calgary end, but we've gotten ourselves up and down the ice pretty quickly here.
Oh my goodness, they are truly just flying in tonight's game. As we look at it again, good opportunity for Cogliano, who had that first goal of the game last night. Now the chance for the Calgary Flames right there. Moji, it is going to be so exciting. Some of these teams, you know Edmonton's going to be good. You know that Calgary, I mean, I like the makeup. You look around Vancouver, and then you look in the Central Division. The Avs next game, Minnesota. These are good hockey. St. Louis, who I felt came the closest to really pushing the Avalanche in the playoffs last year.
Sit behind the cage. Here's Markstrom up the boards. Lucic tries to work his way out. He and Nichushkin were on each other. That's a couple of gigantic bodies, and that one sent right through Newhook. Tannen with his hair flying in the wind, dumps it on net. Glove down by Francouz. EJ had Rooney move in on him. Well, Francouz has made a couple of just terrific saves. That last one on the Mangiapane shot went off his shoulder. And again, it's all part of the push that he made to his right. And there's another good kick save from distance. So the Flames testing Pavel Francouz in the early going in this one, as both teams will make a change. There is Nikita Zadorov. Glove down by Manson. Avs were challenged at the red line, and now Sam Girard, who's looked terrific in the preseason, spins that one in, and Sedlak takes a hit. Here's the rookie Myers. 5 games last year for the Avs, scored 1 goal. The former Hobey Baker finalist with the Minnesota Golden Gophers will chug right behind the cage. Again hit by Anderson as the Flames start to get a little physical now. Especially in their own end. That puck is pinned, still no whistle. And Huberdeau trying to pull Q it out of the pile.
But we've gone from the Flames flying into the zone, getting chances, to some action in around the Calgary net.
Zadorov trying to sidestep the forechecking Cogliano, and the outlet comes to Toffoli. Interesting comments by Daryl Sutter as we were getting ready for the regular season, describing what Tyler Toffoli brings to the team as opposed to a Matthew Tkachuk. But again, I think what that is part of it. Sutter trying to establish an identity for his club. Now Cogliano. It's whacked out of midair by Weegar. Dubé chased it to the far side. Trevor Lewis immediately tied up.
And the Avs have slowed, they've slowed down that pace for Calgary, and they have the 1-0 lead.
Well, they were just living a little bit too wild, and now McKinnon, who's always able to do that, swings it for Rantanen. Mikko works his way, wanted to give it up for McKinnon, but that pass was flipped out of the zone. 29 trying to keep guys on side and could not do it. And we have a whistle. Yeah, still with a 1-0 lead here in Calgary, but just 2 shots on goal to show for it so far.
He's surrounded. Now, I don't know Nicholas Lidstrom as well as I know of Bobby Orr. When I got to Boston, he had just left. but I would talk to players around him. He said he never, ever, ever did anything where we weren't all included. It was, Bobby knew how good he was. There's no, you know, these guys aren't silly. McCarr knows how good he is, but you bring the team along. And that's why he is so tremendously well-liked in that locker room.
And Pete, it's not because you want to just laud praise on Cale Makar, and that puck is smothered by Francouz, but every time you throw up stats and what he's done in his young career, the names around him are Orr, Leach, Coffey, Lidstrom. I mean, you can't get away from it.
Exactly, and now it hasn't been a couple of weeks or 1 year and a playoff. It's been 3 years, and you know, he won the Norris last year when everybody thought Brodiosi was going to win because he had a 90-plus point season, but people know how good he is.
That face-off right to hand. Quick shot and a save by Francouz in traffic. Again, good left pad there by Pavel Francouz, and now Kadri. Wrenched on by McKinnon, Lehkonen helping out at center, and out it comes from Mikko. He'll bang it ahead. Carr showing the wheels on Hanifin. Kadri just got across the red line and able to put it in. You and I are hesitant to compare anybody to Bobby Orr, some of the all-time greats, especially when they're so young, but there's going to come a point when we just have to accept that we need to do it.
Well, the nice thing is we can, you know, sort of push it off on Wayne Gretzky.
Exactly.
If Mr. Gretzky says that, then we're safe saying
score! What a pass out of the corner by Lucic. And standing on the doorstep was Ritchie. Francouz had absolutely no help at all. The first Flames goal of the season goes to Brett Ritchie. We've got a 1-1 game.
And Moj, this is an important goal for this Calgary Flame club because this is parts of that bottom six, the fourth line for this Calgary Flame team. They've got some real top-end talent. They know that. But they have to have these kind of plays, these kind of moments come up from their fourth, third line if they're going to succeed this year.
The first assist goes to Lucic. He made the terrific pass. Wigger gets the second helper. It's his first point as a Flame, but you saw it right there on the replay. Ritchie left all by himself as the Avs were drawn to the nearer side, and not much Francouz could do because he's got to respect Lucic out of the corner trying to go short side on anything, and Ritchie was all alone.
Yeah, and you know, if we're going to look at this for the first, you know, 11 and a half minutes, there's been no question. Calgary could have 3 by now. They have had big-time chances, and Francouz has just been spectacular.
So as we said, Mackenzie Weegar with his first point as a Calgary Flame. Yeah, I've got to pick up the pace. They're bringing out shot 11-2, but it's not like we didn't expect this. Because, again, the Avs got in very, very early in the morning, and the Flames knew it. They're trying to absolutely put the full court press on early in this one as Tanev couldn't get that shot through, and it's rammed wide by Lindholm. Elias Lindholm, what a year he had last year. What a year the Flames top line had last year. Bounced ahead now by Manson, chasing his new hook deep into the Flame zone as Markstrom will step out of his crease. Rodriguez had that one bounce right off his upper body, and Avs couldn't locate it. Fully can. Less than 8 minutes to go now here in period number 1. The Flames have just tied the game at 1, and Stone will retreat as the Avs will make a full change here. The Flames will do the same. Deflected in Coleman, and that one goes over the glass and in to the crowd. Well, the big deal in the offseason, there it is, the talk of the National Hockey League.
And there was so much talk right in and around this time when the trade was made about Johnny Gaudreau going to Columbus, and then all of a sudden this trade, this is a blockbuster deal. Huberdeau, 85 assists, it's the most left wingers ever had in the history of this game. Tkachuk, 100-point player. I mean, they switch places, and the Calgary Flames get Wheeler on top of it because it was going to be tough to keep him because of the salary cap.
When you look at what the Flames got back, with that puck hit the corner of the boards in a very funny fashion, would not get out of the zone. The Avs finally get a hold with EJ. They must have really wanted Matthew Tkachuk because that was a lot to give up. Here comes Cogliano with the breaks. Gerard nowhere to go but deep.
But Moj, they got beat 4-0 in a playoff series. Florida did by Tampa Bay. They said we gotta change something.
Avs trying to make anything happen offensively as Backlund got clubbed down in his own end. And a penalty coming up on the Avalanche, so they'll be shorthanded for the first time here tonight. It's a high sticking call. And Backlund been over at the waist. Is there any blood as the officials take a look? Referees here tonight, Kelly Sutherland and Steve Kazari.
Colorado penalty number 25, 2 minutes for high sticking.
And that is Sutherland. So Logan O'Connor, the Calgary native, will be in the box.
And Backlund is an interesting guy because he really gets an opportunity to benefit from Lindholm and Kadri being 1-2. He is now that third center. And, you know, something I didn't know, Moshe, he has now been here for more, he's played more games for the Calgary Flames by any player ever drafted originally by the Calgary Flames. So he's been around for a while.
That's saying something. Here's the top unit for the Flames and Daryl Sutter. All the big guns are on it, and here's Huberdeau with the puck. Zetline took a swipe. The Avs would certainly like to pick this up after last night gave up 2 power play goals to the Chicago Blackhawks. That first one, an easy tap in for Jonathan Toews, and walking the line, Anderson looking for his shooting lane, couldn't find it, so he'll give it up. Lindholm with a rocket, and that missed. That puck scoots by for Foley's. McCarr is met in the corner, and Kadri able to dig it loose. We saw this battle many times in practice with Toews on Kadri. Now at the point, it's Anderson swinging it off. Rasmus Anderson, nice little feed for Huberdeau, who took his eye off the puck. Right down the slot, deflected wide, and Lindholm got his blade on that one. Avs PKers a little bit out of sorts right now. Flames with a lot of talent. One-timer save Francouz. Toews, an easy clear, and the Avs can change up some killers. First half of the penalty kill has been completed.
But you watch the Calgary Flames, just like you watch the Avalanche. What do they have? That smooth, good hands, movement with the puck.
Nice hit by Manson on Dubé trying to enter the zone. Eric Johnson with a tie-up in the corners. That puck is at the half boards. Cogliano turns and spins it out. Smart play by the veteran. And the Avs are down to 30 seconds left in the penalty kill, being outshot here in period number 1, 13-2. And now Uyghur able to flip it in. There's Byron with a chase. Calgary able to pick up that puck, and Hanifin looking for open space, shoots, hit Dubé. Another shot, that goes off the side of the net. It's Manson doing yeoman's work in the corner. Lehkonen smartly just pokes it up and out. Power play for the Flames is almost over, and here's O'Connor out of the box. So the Avs do a pretty good job. And they're 1 for 1 in the PK with Comfort. Connor was checked. There is no icing here as the puck is played by Markstrom. I think if you look at the situation now with under 5 minutes to go in period number 1, and the Flames are offside, if you can survive here the rest of this first period 1-1, you're going to be in pretty decent shape. We do have a 1-1 hockey game at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome.
One of the biggest trades from all summer long, of course, Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar coming over to the Calgary Flames for Matthew Tkachuk going to the Florida Panthers now. That was a blockbuster trade, but I was curious. I wanted to know who people would rather have on their team. I actually asked some people on Twitter, 550 votes, and the majority, Matthew Tkachuk was the favorite. Now you look at Huberdeau and his impact on this team so far. He's playing on that top power play unit. Mackenzie Weegar already has an assist, so hard to say who won the trade, guys, but certainly a big move.
You're looking at 2 very, very different styles of hockey. Now, when I talk about Huberdeau, I remember back to the year 2011 when Gabe landed 2011. Let me check and see. Yes, 2011, when Gabe Landeskog was in the mix. And they were talking about Huberdeau to the Avalanche with the 3rd pick overall. But they loved Gabe Landeskog. Nugent Hopkins won 1, and the Avalanche got their captain.
Yeah, they loved Gabe from the get-go, but Huberdeau was a highly touted prospect at the time, of course. And as you said, Pete, he's a big body, but he plays a different game than Tkachuk does. And, you know, as Katie was talking about, I'm not sure we'll really know until we see what kind of season the Florida Panthers have. They think they were missing something in their lineup to try to get by the likes of the Tampa Bay Lightning and so on in that division in the Eastern Conference, so we'll see it. It's got to play out during the course of this year, but I'm sure that both teams are happy with what they've gotten so far, but the Flames did get a huge return for a star player. Lucic knocked down in a neutral zone, but the Flames come up with the puck. Avs just trying to be dangerous here. They have added a shot on goal. That's 3 for period number 1, as that one's rammed up the boards and out. Byron, Rooney all over. Now here is Uyghur. Part of the top pair here with the Calgary Flames, along with Tannen. Flames going out of their way to lay licks on the Avs in the zone. There's Manson absorbing a hit. Bowen Byram has earned the ire already early on from these Calgary Flames. He just suffered 3 hits there on that shift.
Well, Calgary knows. We got to try and slow this kid down. He is all over the ice.
Zadorov will be patient. Under 3 minutes now to go here in period number 1. The outlet finds the targets. Scooting through is Lindholm. Collects that puck again and dumps it in, but another offside call on Calgary. Beer and hockey go together like wine and cheese, so grab a case of Mountain Time, the legendary, crisp, crushable premium lager from New Belgium Brewing. On this summertime with this Avalanche squad celebrating the Stanley Cup Championship, I can promise you, Pete, there was some Mountain Time crushed.
But how interesting is it that Jack Johnson last night with Chicago? Everybody just absolutely loved what he did. Jumped in the celebration, even though he was a Blackhawk. But now on the second night, Calgary. Did they bring his ring? All of those little things that, it was a big signing for these Calgary Flames.
You open the door to the Flames dressing room and just toss it in. Here's your box.
Here,
see ya.
No, absolutely. There's too much respect for who he is and what he did.
Yeah, still friends with guys on this team, that's for sure, but the Avs simply could not keep him. Brought ahead now by Alex Newhook. Avs want to get their cycle going. Hasn't really been effective here in period 1 as Girard sends a wrister to the front of the net. That's the first puck that's been blocked away by Markstrom here tonight. There's a hit by Rodriguez. Big foul, working it right back in. There's a door off with a long reach in the poke check. Back to Jack Johnson. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. But it was a special moment and something that they will all remember. Dubé down the wing with a centering pass as Kadri was chugging hard, and a penalty is going to come up on Cale Makar. It's going to be a hook, and the Avs will be shorthanded for the second time here in this first period. Makar trying to check Kadri, I should say, and catch up to him down the slot. Laid the blade out.
Number 8, minor penalty for hooking.
Second penalty called tonight by the officials. This one, Steve Piron.
You have to be impressed with the way that the Calgary Flames have attacked the Avalanche for a good portion of this first period.
The second unit will begin things for Daryl Sutter. The Avs limited the Flames to 2 shots on goal on their first power play chance, and now as you look at it, with 1:54 to go here in period number 1, the Flames will be on the power play for the entirety of it. Theoretically, as Backlund's kicked out of the draw against JT Compher. Mangiapane able to bang it to Hannafin with a long shot. That was hit right in the slot, cut down at the blue line, but that puck did come out of the zone. So an offside call to the Flames, and the Avs will get that draw just outside their line.
Obviously for the Avalanche, they're coming off a Stanley Cup win against Tampa Bay. For this Calgary Flames club, they're coming off the Battle of Alberta, where they won the first game 9-6. Crazy, crazy game. And then Edmonton, McDavid, Draisaitl just took over and swept the next 4.
They had 111 points last year to the Flames. Daryl Sutter, that puck is sent out by Francouz himself. Sutter was the Jack Adams winner. Yep. And they had a phenomenal season. They just could not get by those Edmonton Oilers.
Markstrom was the second in the Vezina Trophy, second team All-Star.
Manson teed up Dubé. He'll return the favor. Glove down by Hannafin. Straight up top again for Hannafin. Now a one-timer. Uyghur blocked away, and now a scramble for the puck to the far side it goes. Approaching 1 minute to go here in period number 1. The Avs on their second penalty kill of the night, and that puck just outside the trapezoid. Backlund able to connect. Overhand if it's sticking out, so the Avs catch a break. Lehkonen jumps on. EJ jumps on. Bowen Byram comes out along with Logan O'Connor. So 4 fresh killers for the Avs. And the top unit now making its way on for the Flames is Calgary. Works his way right through center ice. Centering pass off the leg of Bowen Byram. Rammed around, but not out of the zone to Foley. Huberdeau couldn't hang on, and a foot race. EJ will try to make a play, and that puck is out. Good job by Erik Johnson as he was all over Jonathan Huberdeau.
And he just flying. Huberdeau said, what is this mountain coming after me?
I mean, the big legs just jamming those skates into the ice to get there. Lindholm with a quick pass into the far circle. Nice play there by the Avs, and it's sent out off the linesman. A bit of a bad break as the Flames now have 10 seconds to work with to try to get deep, and that's an icing call as that pass missed everything. So it looks like the Avs will not only get through this first period even, but be 2 for 2 on the PK.
And Moshe, when you were crawling into your room last night, right around 4 a.m., not the usual way you crawl in.
Right.
Were you saying at 1-1 at the end of the first period you would take him for the Colorado Avalanche?
1,000%.
Yeah, it was because it was, you know, you got customs and there was all the emotion of last night and everything. So the Avalanche did not have a great period. Calgary really tried to take it to them, but it's 1-1 and Francouz made some big saves.
And time is ticked on down, so we do have a 1-1 game. And as you just said, Pete, if you're Jared Bednar going to that room, maybe you're not pleased with what the first period looked like, but the outcome, you'll take that.
Exactly. I mean, you're going to go in there and you're going to want to change some things. Calgary had too much speed coming across the blue line, in control of the puck in certain situations, but the Avalanche at once will look at it.
But we're tied at 1, and you're watching Colorado Avalanche hockey on Altitude. After the break, stay tuned. We've got highlights and much, much more. Kyle and Riker will take over the studio. Here comes the Avalanche Intermission Reports.
Chuck and Vezina, the original.
Oh my goodness.
Guess where they all are?
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. They're all in the Hall of Fame. Along with our young guy here, he's on his way. Isn't that a number? When we were talking about Cale Makar being, you know, in and amongst the group, I mean, Vezina, I just miss seeing him play.
Just by a few years.
Suchuk, Worsley, and Plant. I mean, these were, when I was growing up, these were the guys. They were it.
Well, the Gumper, I just saw a picture of him the other day from, not sure what year it even was. Here are your first period stats presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. They've taken a couple of shots away from the Calgary Flames, so officially 13 shots saved by Francouz in that first. Picard gives it up for EJ. To Foley with a check there, and that puck bouncing through the slot. Avs pick it up. McKinnon. Boy, was he a mover and shaker last night for this Avs squad. Picked up a couple of assists. Has one here this evening, but he was the engine that drove the team from the drop of the puck. And a penalty coming up on the Flames. The Avs will get their first power play of the night. This is a delayed call as it's brought ahead again by Erik Johnson. Back to Ranson, and it goes, weaving through traffic. Mikko and a centering pass, and we have an offside call, I believe. And so let's see exactly what this is. It's going to be a hold by one official.
Calgary, number 55, minor penalty for holding.
And so Hanifin will go to the box. Had to go all the way back to try to find out where that was. But it was Noah Hanifin with the first penalty of the Flames on the night. There he is, wrapping up McKinnon.
Yeah, well, trying to wrap up McKinnon. Because we saw it last night, Moshe. You end up reaching. He's not right beside you, so you suddenly put the hand. You're reaching, and the minute they see that, the referees are going to make that call.
Tannen ramped up the boards. Lehkonen couldn't keep it in. Here comes Lindholm, short-handed with a centering pass and a shot wide of the net by Backlund. He got a lot on it. Now the Avs are motor scootering through the neutral zone. Nichushkin let that one go. It went through his stick. Val will pick it back up. Wants to give it off. McKinnon with a tip. Here is Cale back to McKinnon. Now wide open top of the circle. Pass through the seam. Shots deflected. Kept in by Makar now. To Lehkonen with a redirect save by Markstrom, and it's pushed up and out by the Calgary Flames. Nice little job by Lehkonen. He scored on a redirect last night.
He does that really well. He times it, well, and they find him in that slot area.
hit at the half boards, and that puck is sent up and out. Lehkonen checking his parts as he works his way back to the neutral zone. His helmet almost flew off. The Avs down to the final minute of this power play chance. Again, it's their first of the evening. Mikko to Lehkonen. That one's taken away by the Flames as Coleman swings it ahead. Lewis blew his own tire coming across the red line. Interesting stat for Mikko Rantanen. He hasn't scored in 7 straight games back to the Edmonton Western Conference Final last year. But in that time, he dished out 12 assists, including 4 last night. So he has been getting on the score sheet, just hasn't been putting the puck in the back of the net. Watch out, a 2-on-1 developing. Here come the Flames in with a shot, score. Dubé able to rip it inside the near post past the blocker of Francouz. The Avs have given up a shorthanded goal. It's now 2-1 in favor of Calgary.
This Dubé is an interesting guy. 18 goals last year, but these are the kind of plays he can make. And when you watch it, Newhook just gets unlucky. Falls down. That allows everything to break into a quick 2-on-1. Uses the man perfectly. Walks in. Just a really good shot on a quick 2-on-1.
You talk about 18 goals for Dubé last year. The Flames had 4 guys with 30 or more.
Yep.
But then you had to click all the way down to Dubé with 18 to get the next guy on that list. But he's a capable player, and he's dangerous on the PK as he just showed off.
And as we talked about, with those 3 to now really good center icemen that Calgary has, how is everything going to filter down as far as lines?
Now Comfort rammed off that puck by Lindholm and couldn't get it in. It's sent all the way down. Only 5 seconds to go in the power play. Avs have 1 shot on goal on this power play. Hear the paddle down from Francouz. Just a perfect shot by Dubé on the 2-on-1. He elected to shoot it himself, and he ripped it past the block.
And you saw Taves walk in, and that's what good defensemen will do. In that situation, you give the shooter to the goaltender. You take away the pass. You don't go flying across and try to be a hero. Those are the kind of situations you just got beat.
And if he makes a perfect shot, he makes a perfect shot, and that's exactly what Dylan Dubé did. So the Avs find themselves for the first time this evening trailing in a contest, and there is Devon Taves. He knows how to play that. You don't want to leave your goalie out to dry. You certainly don't want to get squirrely down on the ice. You take one man, let your goalie have the other.
And that's, again, what you're looking at there is confidence. They have confidence, and every once in a while it's going to go in.
Sedlak now out. Came over from the KHL. In fact, released from the last year of his contract in the K to return to North America. Signed a deal with the Colorado Avalanche. Played in the Columbus organization. Played a couple of seasons for the Blue Jackets. Coached by Jared Bednar.
When they won the Calder Trophy in the American Hockey League.
At Lake Erie. And that's an offside call of the Avs. Well, it's time for the Dell Technologies Control. And you look at the re-signed players this offseason, Pete, the Avs wanted to lock these guys up, and they got it done.
And, when the cup was over, and you're realistically a month later looking at, what do they want to do? I think they did everything that they wanted to do. They knew that Kemper was going someplace. They knew that Kadri was going someplace. Burakovsky was going someplace. Because they just, that they didn't fit in financially to where the Avs could go.
But I think if you're a fan, if you want to know what the culture is like and how much players want to play here, the guys the Avs brought over the deadline, every one of them said, I want to come back.
Yeah.
I want to be a member of this team. Harelman's on a 1-year deal, said I want to come back. I want to stay with this club. And that's a huge thing. And when you look at it, there's, of course, Jared Bednar. And the way he coaches and playing for him. Yeah, but Andrew Cogliano, same kind of story. But, Val Nichushkin, Pete, has just blossomed into a true power forward under Jared Bednar. He wanted to stay.
And again, he is a classic example of go find me another. Go find me a guy that's 27 years old, 6'4", 225 pounds. His number 1 attribute is he checks so well and throws in 35 goals.
And our Coors Light beating the pressure. It's all presented by Coors Light. It is Jared Bednar, and there he is, Peter. entering his 7th season as head coach of the Colorado Avalanche.
For his 21st season as a coach, 13th as a head coach, 6 in the minors, 6 in the National Hockey League, and he uses a term that I find fascinating. I honed my craft. I have never heard another coach say, it's, you know, I wanted to coach, I wanted to be part of coaching, and the whole, you know, that whole idea, but hone my craft. In other words, he knows that he would coach someplace.
Icing call on the Avs and Nichushkin. Not very happy with that. Thought he had Tanev evened up. Yeah, it's remarkable, too, because he wins in the E, he wins in the A, and then he wins a Stanley Cup championship in the National Hockey League. He's won at every level he's coached at.
And I love that. We've seen it before, but I love the 3 names. They had Cooper, they had Sullivan, and they had Jared Bender. What was the common denominator among those guys? Was the seniority? They'd all won cups. So you stick with the process and let these guys, you know, learn how to coach, learn how to work with the players.
Tanev has pushed a couple of shots toward the front of the Avs net. None got through as that one skipped through Eric Johnson. Coleman wants to feed it off. Calgary getting the cycle going. Another save by Francouz, and now EJ wants to spin away from Lewis. Tied up as the referee, Kelly Sutherland, could not get out of the way. Newhook laying a hit there. Alex Newhook starting the season as the number 2 center for this Colorado Avalanche team, and Jared Bednar with a lot of confidence in him. But again, it's games like this, the back-to-back. What's the matchup? Who are you going against? They're going to tell the tale of where Newhook is going to be 200 feet all over the ice.
Yeah, matchups are huge because at home, you can work around, you know, a bad matchup. On the road, you are going to see the number 2 center for the other team, and there are some good ones in this league.
And even the number 1 on occasion, as they want the matchup they want, different faceoffs and that sort of thing, depending on where they are. What zone is Zadorov trying to get that one across his own blue line, is able to do it. Nikita Zadorov has found a bit of a home here with the Calgary Flames. Came over from the Avalanche, and now here's Cogliano working his way in. Flattened by Zadorov at the top of the circle, and that's what he's known for. Lindholm ran right into Cale Makar. You usually lose that battle.
And McDermott took a little shot at Zadorov, and Zadorov decided, let's go to the bench.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm going to go make a change, and there's an icing call on the Avs. Let's take another look again as Cogliano was trying a little give and go with Logan O'Connor, and then 16 sized him up as he came into the zone.
Well, that's, you know, you're going to get rocked in this game, and everybody knows it's Zadorov. You know, that's one of those ones where Cogliano having a little look at his pass. When you got to know that Zadorov's on the ice, and that's one of the things. How many times have we seen him lay guys up? That hit against Scheifele for Winnipeg.
Well, that night he not only laid out Scheifele, Pete, who went airborne, he laid out Blake Wheeler, and those are 2 huge guys.
Well, huge guys, but really good hockey players who usually, you know what's on the ice.
Another icing call.
I can remember the first time I was in some really hard hockey games. There were some guys that you didn't want to fool around with. The guy said, "Hey, are you?" And I'd end up getting smacked. They go, "Are you an idiot? Are you seriously? You didn't know he was on the ice. You didn't check around and see." I mean, I remember listening to Brett Hullison. He knew all the time.
Can you define idiot? Then I guess I'll let
There'd be a picture of me getting smacked with my head down at center ice. It's just part of the process.
When you look at Zadorov, I mean, again, we were fond of Big Z as a Colorado Avalanche, but did he do that enough or as much as he could when he was with the Avs? That's the question.
You know, and that's, you know, he's now on his, you know, he started in Buffalo, got traded to the Avalanche, went to Chicago, now he's in Calgary.
Into the corner chasing his Uyghur. Behind the net, the defenseman. Traded to Calgary in the blockbuster deal. Recently re-signed. Rooney picked up out of the car. Now just working behind the cage along the inboards. Things a bit choppy here in the early going of period number 2. Calgary with a shorthanded goal to take the lead. Rooney continues to, Ritchie continues to spin out of traffic, and that one missed Uyghur all the way down at what goes. Markstrom has only played the puck a couple of times tonight. He's only seen 4 shots on goal, so maybe 25 is getting a little bit bored. He started to wander a little bit there. Taves avoids a big hit as Lucic was a freight train. And now the Flames again picking up the hitting. Long shot, Zadorov. Kick save for Francouz. Calgary getting a change. Off of Sedlak it goes. Deflected. That puck whistling through the linesman back to the Avalanche end. Dubé with the first tally of the night for the Flames. Hit by Lehkonen. You and I continue to be impressed by Artturi Lehkonen. 2 goals and an assist last night in the Avs opener against the Chicago Blackhawks. And we knew a little bit about him before he was traded by the Montreal Canadiens to the Avs last year, but we got to learn a lot more about him as Mangiapane's wrist shot deflected up into the screen, and we realized what a terrific hockey player he really is. And we'll take a timeout. Here we are, period number 2 in Calgary. It's 2-1 in favor of the Flames on a beautiful fall night.
Ring ceremony back on Monday night, a special night for this team to kind of close that chapter ahead of the new season, and the rings are gorgeous. I asked a few guys about them. Mikko Rantanen immediately just said unreal, better than I could have expected, and I didn't even Google old rings beforehand. I really wanted to be surprised. JT Compher said the best part though was that they got to find them and see them all together.
Yeah, it was a really cool thing, and my goodness, how beautiful are those rings, Pete.
They're just, I mean, jaw drop, beautiful. Just, you look at it and you go, goodness gracious.
When you look at the detail and the craftsmanship, I don't know how people do it as Lehkonen had that pass fired to him. Back to McKinnon. He goes down the slot with a shot over the top of the net. Avs trying to get to the rebound. Lehkonen fighting now off to McKinnon, trying to find a Rantanen, and there's Anderson stepping in the way. So the top line not really untracked yet tonight as that one is kept in by Artturi Lehkonen. If you want a line to continue to try to get things going, this is the one. Working hard in the Flame zone. Nichushkin now off the bench. Trying to stay with it. It comes to Byram. Now to Nichushkin to Mikko. Avs making a change. Part of the second line is on the ice. Up top it comes to Bowen Byram with a wrist shot and right in the breadbasket of Markstrom. Well, Avs faithful celebrate the Stanley Cup champions with the official fan collection from Jostens. Now you can own a piece of Avalanche history inspired by the official championship rings you just saw. Head to jostens.com/avalanche. That's jostens.com/avalanche. And look at those, man, those fantastic products there. We have plenty of Avalanche fans in the building tonight. Saw some of them early on when I was down on the bench, and they're very excited to be here this evening, celebrate the championship and cheer their team on. But when you look at those rings, Pete, can you imagine the person putting it together? Oh, the kind of patience and craftsmanship you have to have.
And you just look, I mean, have you seen the new Avalanche Authentics?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Goodness gracious. The fun part that you can enjoy being a part of your club, the merchandising and all of this fun stuff is, it's such a part of being involved with your team now. It's amazing.
Well, the Bear and Zach were in there last night, and I couldn't find them. I mean, it's just so big, and there's so many cool products, and the fans are just all over the place. All the great new merchandise. They just do a wonderful job as that one's back to the Avalanche in for Byram. Things, again, not really picking up here in the early going of period number 2. Nichushkin will work it in. Still stick handling, waiting for a trailer, and gives it off as Sammy G. Activates down the boards with a wrist shot. Saved by Markstrom. He'll hold on. And don't wait to find a genie in a lamp. Grant your own wishes. The Powerball jackpot is $454 million. So get your tickets today.
Are you one of those ones, Moj, if it's only 48 million, you don't even bother, but once it gets up to 454, you put a couple of bucks.
Of course. You kidding me?
What do I want?
I've spent money on worse things. I've burned money on worse non-items in the past. This one, if I can win 454, are you kidding me? Into the quarter it goes. Tell you what, Pete, I'd get you a new Honda. How about that?
You're a special
I really am. I'm a good guy. Back it comes to McKinnon. Tried to feed it for Mikko, but a disjointed play, and now tripped up as Huberdeau. No penalty called in front, backhanded wide. As at the last second, Coleman got a stick on McKinnon. Boy, I thought that was going to be a tripping penalty on the Avalanche, and I looked at both officials, and neither arm went up. So the Avs catch a bit of a break there. Rantanen is right back in, but nowhere to go but deep. Halfway through period number 2, and that puck is off the glass and over into the crowd, and it brings us to another timeout. Not a very exciting second period so far. Both teams a little bit stuck in the mud. It's a 2-1 Flames lead.
I like the beach. That's my my go-to.
Yeah, but in Glenwood Springs, there aren't any sharks. there's nothing to bite you there. Here the Avs back onto the ice in the Calgary zone. This is a big face-off. We're more than halfway through period number 2. The Avs have 7 total shots.
Yeah.
They had 3 in the first. They have 4 here in the second, but they're trying to get any sort of offense generated.
But it's starting to turn. There's been a few shifts where the Avalanche have been turning Calgary around, getting some opportunities, but they need to put together some really good scoring chances.
Yeah, just not a lot generated. Cogliano into the corner on Rooney. Now here's O'Connor flashing. The car down the board with Lucic on him. Is the veteran Milan Lucic to take it away. The car will catch up to him in the ab zone. Lucic gets the wrist shot off and missed it wide. Well, Milan Lucic with those legs, showing a little speed there. Fed ahead for JT Compher. Compher with some big goals in last year's Cup run. Big goals. And it's pinned in some skates. Rammed to the hashes now. It's Rooney to turn it ahead through O'Connor. Calgary sitting on 18 shots on goal in the game, just 4 in this period. So that's sort of how things have gone. Each team with 4 shots on goal. Dubé, short-handed. Fanned on that wrist shot as McCarr turned it ahead, and now some speed shown by Lehkonen trying to get there and couldn't. Mangiapane in transition, gives it off for Kadri into the slot. Saved by Francouz on the redirect. Great job there by Pavel Francouz to read the play as Dubé was cutting in all by his lonesome, and McKinnon with a reverse hit puts Dubé on his backside. Here is Nathan McKinnon. Up top, Manson faked the slapper, and now Byram down deep. Wanted to give it off for Mikko, and a little bit unselfish there as Hanifin had the big Avs winger checked.
Was that a play by Nathan McKinnon? He took the puck, he realized the guy was coming at him, he just chips it to his guy and just smokes the Flame.
Oh, that reverse hit, Pete. Long shot and a save by Markstrom that was going wide anyway. But we saw the king of the reverse hit for so many years with the Colorado Avalanche, and McKinnon taking a page out of the Forsberg book.
It was one of the most controversial plays I remember at the time, Moshe, when Forsberg would do that. But again, Francouz cannot be faulted in tonight's game. He's had some really good scoring chances against them. And again, it's a 1-goal game because of how well he's played.
He's made 17 saves on the night. 2 goals that scored against him, nothing you can do. Uyghur, a 2-hand chop up the boards to Toffoli. Former LA King. Raise it for Lindholm, and there's a wrister save. Francouz, and right down in his logo. He'll scoop it up.
Well, Lindholm and his line mates last year were, as a group, a plus 180 something. And then you trade, or one goes under free agency. And again, talking to people here in Calgary, there was no question that there was some money that was left on the table when, Gaudreau went to Columbus, pardon me, and then Tkachuk on the trade. I mean, it was one of the, I think everybody considered it to be as good a line as there was in the National Hockey League.
Well, I mean, their season was just spectacular. Bounced off the boards for Sammy G with a quick flip, and he just missed the far post. Love the idea. Now Nichushkin with a wrist shot. That one hits Markstrom, and it pins against his body. Now Uyghur gives Rodriguez a cross check, and we've got some anger going on at the side of the crease. Big Val Nichushkin getting in there as Tanev will put a bear hug on him, but Rodriguez took the cross check from Uyghur and then responded. Let's take another look at exactly what happened. That puck was already in Markstrom's gear by the time that went down.
Yeah, Rodriguez is going to be, once everybody is healthy, I really think he's going to be a valuable up and down, left wing, right wing, maybe some center on the second, third line for the Colorado Avalanche. Because he can skate and he can shoot. Last year he proved he can play with really good players in Pittsburgh.
And Chris McFarland talks about that. The Avs have guys who are in their spot. But these other elevator guys that are so valuable to go up, down, and around, Boy, they are just so helpful. That long shot tied up Markstrom momentarily, but finally bounces into his catching glove. So the Avs now at least throwing rubber at the front of the Flames cage.
Yeah, and the idea is who does he remind you of a little bit? Burakovsky. Burakovsky, I mean, if you actually went through the 82-game schedule and you put him, where did he play this particular night? Well, it would all depend on who was healthy and who was ready to go. In the perfect world, when the top two lines were set, he would be a third-line player, but he played first line, second line.
McKinnon all the way to the point, marching back through the circle. McKinnon to the forehand, saved by Markstrom, and McKinnon runs into him, and now he's hammered at the side of the net, and we've got a scramble and a Donnybrook right at the Calgary cage. McKinnon was in a headlock from Anderson. There will be a penalty coming up, and I believe it's on Nathan McKinnon. Cale Makar raced into the pile.
It can't be on McKinnon. Watch what McKinnon does here. McKinnon,
well, he pulled up.
Yes, exactly. And then he looks down. McKinnon's going to drive, and then he looks down and sees, he wants to make sure the goaltender's okay. Look.
Oh my goodness. I mean, he did touch Markstrom, but
well, yes, he did. But I mean, he's driven in.
Well,
oh boy.
Well, McKinnon's going to sit for goalie interference, but I mean, Pete, if I did that to you in the booth, you just look at me.
Well,
and Markstrom goes flying to the back of his cage.
He can't be going alone. That's the thing. He can't be going alone because the guy comes in right in from behind.
2 minutes for roughing. Number 4 from Calgary, 2 for roughing. Number 11 from Calgary, the original hold.
So there are some penalties doled out by
that's
Steve Kazari. McKinnon's in the box. And we'll see if he got a double minor. There are 2 Flames in the box, Backlund and Anderson. Let's take another look here.
Watch Anderson, number 4, in behind. He doesn't even know what's going on. And then maybe he does the right thing. But, you know, you 2-on-1 McKinnon. So I think the Avalanche are going to get a power play.
They are going to get a power play.
Yeah, McKinnon did his one thing, if that's what you want to call it. But then there was all kinds of extra stuff by Calgary.
And it wasn't even a big thing.
No.
It was a sort of thing. Avs on the night 0 for 1 in the power play with 1 shot on goal, and they gave up a shorthanded goal to Dylan Dubé. The faceoff is going to come outside the neutral zone.
But that is
outside into the neutral zone, I should say.
Yeah, because the Colorado Avalanche, they had everybody run in and jump into the pile.
There's McKinnon in the box. So second unit is on for Jared Bednar, or at least a little bit of a mix. McKinnon's off the top unit. It's actually the top unit with Rodriguez added to it is what it is. That's back to Cale Makar. The Avs will reset and make their way to the Calgary zone, being outshot 2-1 at this point, 20-10. Rodriguez with a nice move into the corner, but lost an edge. Cale, patient, back to Rantanen. Mikko loves that goal line. Makar looking in, now a one-timer, and it's blocked away. Another shot, and it goes right over Markstrom's head, and Rodriguez had a nice whistle right there. One thing he can do is shoot the puck, Peter. You and I watched him all throughout training camp. Back it comes in front. Shot off the side of the net into the blue paint, and it's covered by Markstrom. And Rantanen slams his stick down on the ice. He pivoted to the forehand and fires it off the outside of the post on what was a partially open goal mouth.
Oh, it was just wide open. We're talking Mikko Rantanen here. He had a wide open net, and he just missed, unfortunately. Makes a beautiful little move right there. But you could see he just misfired.
The Avs were digging at that puck, and there is Mikko talking to himself.
You know what motion he must have? Really strong hands. Because he's able to just move that puck in and around. It's one thing to be smooth, but he has got strong hands.
He will take the draw here against his former teammate in Calgary, and he wins it all the way to Cale. Makar walks the line, looks in, and wrist shot. That hit Rantanen into the back and went wide. Avs fight forward on the near side, and Rodriguez trying to come up with it. And skipped away, and Mangiapane will move it ahead. Makar on the back. Check and back. He comes to his own zone, going backwards. He just picked up all kinds of steam and was directing traffic at the very same time. Hey, Avs fans, watch your Colorado Avalanche in every great Colorado game on Evoca TV. It's more sports for less, so sign up today at Evoca.tv.
Oh, Cale Makar returning home. You know, it's the last time he was here, he was drinking Slurpees out of the Stanley Cup.
That sounds pretty good. What else was in there besides the Slurpee?
Well, that's for you and I to figure out.
Yeah, he and his brother having a great time. It's just every guy had a wonderful experience this summertime. Second unit is on with 42 seconds left in the power play. Down crashing to the ice, Alex Newhook took a stick in the head on a couple of pivots there by Coleman. On the ice is Bowen Byram flat on his gut. Let's see what happened. Coleman came in, was jamming at the puck, but he was catching Newhook right in the head at the same time.
Now, he's not going to get a penalty, but boy, oh boy.
It was right about here.
Right there. Look, I mean, you're coming up. Coleman, who was involved with one of the most controversial calls of the playoffs last year. 6 minutes to go in Game 5. It's 4-4 tie. Play comes and it looks like he kicks the puck in. It does. He kicks the puck in. They don't know. They said he did, but it was one of the most subtle kicks. I think personally they made the right call, but it wasn't very popular in Calgary.
It was very popular in Edmonton, I can promise you that, as Zdorov sends that one down. 25 seconds left on the Avs power play. It's their second of the night. Makar now. Slingshot off. Rodriguez works his way through the neutral zone. Tried to find right net. Good stick by Hanifin there. That should just about do it as Makar retreats.
They got a good defensive core. They have a very solid 6.
Here comes Valen all the way to the front of the net. A flip save by Markstrom. That puck is bouncing loose. Makar now to Rodriguez, and it's blocked away again by Weegar. Flat ahead. Here comes Anderson on a breakaway to the Avs zone. Shoots and scores. It went through the 5-hole of Pavel Francouz. He faked the wrister. And on a changeup, he slides it right through the pads. It's now a 3-1 lead for the Calgary Flames.
Now this is a play that shows you for Anderson, Moshe, he's starting to emerge as a really, really good player in the National Hockey League. He had 4 goals, 46 assists, 50 points last year, and was starting to assert himself. And again, with Weegar and now Anderson, who's just 25 years old, you're starting to look at a defensive group that's coming together.
Well, that is an excellent point, Pete. He's been coming on for the Calgary Flames with more responsibility every year. Long wrist shot there. That was deflected with a high stick. Flames don't want to touch it. Now we have a whistle on the near side. We'll take a timeout. Under 5 minutes to go here in period number 2. The Flames with a shorthanded goal. Another Ravens-trained goal and taking a 3-1 lead. Makar saw Gary last night on the way into the rink, and they were there for opening night. Flew back up here today, of course, to watch their son play in his hometown.
Moshe, I had the great opportunity, it's sort of out of nowhere. I was walking down the corridor after that first playoff game where he scored.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been around for a long time. And I just knew that this kid was going to have it. And I can remember saying to them, you know, it's going to be a heck of a ride. There's going to be all-star games. There's going to be Olympics. There's going to be, you know, and they were like, what are you talking about? He just played his first game. I said, don't worry. He is going to be everything that I've been talking about.
Kadri makes a move on McKinnon with a wrist shot, hit a body in front, and the Avs collapse upon it. Here comes McKinnon back out the other way. Wants to give it off for Newhook. He's been switched up just a little bit as it's put down deep by Girard. Avs looking for some offense. Whipped up top, and Sammy G with a wrist shot, gloved by Markstrom. I got to be honest with you. He just played all the small things. I'm not a big fan of that. Feels like a ripoff.
That's ours.
What are we doing up here? I mean,
well, maybe they're figuring it worked for the Avalanche. Maybe it can work for us.
Find your own song. There's plenty of Debbie Boone out there. I mean, you know.
Well, the Avalanche
No,
certainly.
that's just, I'm sorry, it's just got me twisted a little sideways, Pete.
Well, just control yourself.
I'll try.
The next goal, Moch, you know, the Calgary doesn't need it, but the next goal is going to go really a long way to showing what kind of game we're going to have, here in Calgary.
Foul. As Uyghur chasing him, now it's Bowen Byron. The only goal tonight for the Avs. That wrist shot never got through as Toffoli had to deflect right off his leg. And Shushkin falls down. Goes into the boards on the near side with Toffoli on top of him. Pushed ahead and just out of the reach of Rodriguez. You can see the Avs' energy picking up a little bit. In this period, they do have 8 shots on goal, which equals the Calgary Flames, but it's Calgary with the opportunistic tallies. One shorthanded and one that sort of acted like a power play goal, or excuse me, a shorthanded goal, I should say, for them as the Avs just had their power play expire and Rasmussen is sprung out of the box.
And one thing that we haven't maybe talked enough about, Nordstrom. I mean, this is he has to do something for this hockey club because there was so much credit he got for the way that he played, and rightfully so. But then when it came down to the playoffs last year, it just wasn't there, and so he is going to be really working hard to have a good season.
Well, the backup here in Calgary is Dan Vladar, so you're going to see plenty of Markstrom throughout the course of the season. As the lead pass comes to McKinnon. The Flames would not let him across the blue line. Manson does the honors. Flip for Mikko, but bodied up there by Rasmus Andersson. Taves down the boards. As this game goes on, I'm sure we'll see a lot more of the defensemen working their way in. McKinnon, a little dangle move. Mikko trying to spin away from Hannafin. Finds Taves up top. That one missed McKinnon. It slows things down for this Avalanche team as they need to change. Lucic collapsed upon. Bang to the point. Makar, a rocket shot that deflected right through the slot. Cogliano couldn't see it. Here is McKinnon. Rips it off for Taves. Now given to Kale. Back to McKinnon it goes, and he couldn't handle it off the heel of his stick. Rantanen and McKinnon were both still out there. They needed a change badly. Here comes Cogliano. He'll work it right back in. The Avs trying to get numbers, catching the Flames in a change. A fumbled puck. It goes down the slot, and they can't make anything of it. Oh, they had the Flames caught there a little bit, Pete, but that puck bounced on Devontae.
Yeah, he was all set to make that move, and it just started to fumble, and then Calgary collapsed on him very nicely.
They got back into the play at the very last second. Off the cover with a wrist shot. Blocker saved by Andersson. A lot on that one. But the Markstrom, the Flames goalie, able to locate in traffic down the slot as it's flopped back in. Just a minute 27 to go here in period number 2. The Flames with the only 2 goals of this period. Lob back in by JT with the backhand. Markstrom fed it off, and Uyghur just dumps it out of the zone for space. The Avs return home next Wednesday, as we talked about, against the Winnipeg Jets. But before that, another division game in Minnesota. Kadri tried to work his way to the low slot. Avs cut him off. The Avs will be at the Wild coming up on Monday night. Minnesota tonight at home in the opener against the New York Rangers. Blasted 7-3. Time winding down, and the Flames looking for more, and that's turned wide by Mangiapane. 40 seconds left, and we have a penalty coming up. It's going to be a cross-check as Kadri is down on the ice. Looks like Eric Johnson will head to the box for the first time here this evening.
It's amazing how certain guys could end up having a certain thing happen at the end of a play. Kadri ends up, getting cross-checked, right call on Johnson. But look what he does. Just happens to fall into the goaltender. And you wonder why. He was so popular in Toronto and then in Colorado, and now he's going to be popular in Calgary.
Yeah, well, Frankie's fine.
But I'm sure Frankie's going, where did that guy go? He just flew over top.
He was coming right to the blue paint, and EJ said, stay away from there. And then you saw what happened. But this is a big kill for the Avs. If they want to get back in this thing, they got to kill this 38.5 off to end period number 2 and regroup during the intermission as the Avs doing the draw on Taves sent it 200 feet. 1922. Andersson on the move now. Swings it back for Lindholm. And if you're Elias Lindholm, you had to be thinking, well, I lost my 2 wingers. We were a phenomenal line, maybe the best in the NHL last year, one of the best. What am I going to get in return? Well, pretty good stuff. Calgary now. As Cogliano. Pass to the front of the net, or maybe just a dump to the front of the net, turned aside by the Avs, and all the way down it goes, and that will do it for 2 periods.
And the Avalanche had a better period than they had in the first, but there's a couple of strange kind of plays led to 2 goals for the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, short-handed goal and an even strength goal that acted like a short-handed goal. And after 2 here at the Saddle Dome, it's the Flames 3 and the Avs 1. You're watching Colorado Avalanche hockey on Altitude. Coming up after the break, stay tuned. You've got all the highlights and much, much more as Kyle and Riker take over on the Toyota Intermission Report.
It's the aspects of the game that he brought to the Avalanche. In the finals, for example, no player has scored more goals in the finals for the Colorado Avalanche than Nichushkin's 4 finals goals. So players are defined by big moments, and he is able to come up with big moments.
He certainly is, and he has just flourished under Jared Bednar. Is still on the penalty killer of the Avalanche. A huge one here if they want to get back in this hockey game. It's flowed all the way down, glove down by Markstrom. Here are the second period stats presented by Caesars Sportsbook. The Flames sit on 22 shots, and here comes the breakout again. Less than a minute to go on their power play chance. Gives it back now. Lindholm will dump it deep in chase. Taves the first one there. Into the corner of Calgary. Now Anderson at the point. He's got a goal here tonight, the 3rd goal for the Flames. Offer one out to meet him, trying to stretch the zone as much as possible. Huberdeau, bit of a quiet night so far. Back it comes for Toffoli, looking for a centering pass, but the Avs denied there. Now Huberdeau, top of the circle with his shot, and that went high. Down to the final 15 seconds of the kill here for the Avs into the slots. Far side in a one-timer, deflected score. A broken play. Toffoli able to get a stick on it and puts it in the back of the net. If he did that on purpose, that was great hand-eye coordination. Then the Flames, with a power play goal, have taken a 4-1 lead.
And they're going to have a little look at Toffoli to see if McCarr's stick came up on him, which it did. But it was right there. Watch Toffoli come off the post, move in front. Moshe didn't go after the puck to touch it, but it was in the right place to touch it. Then that's what you want to do in a power play situation like that. Had the power play ended?
It was right at the very end. It could be even strength. It could be a power play goal. You heard Markstrom's paddle down on the ice, banging away. Calgary with an assist. That's his first point as a Flame. Anderson gets the other assist, so it's a 2-point night for him, and McCarr may be going to the box here.
Colorado's got a minor penalty for high sticking.
So Cale McCarr will go to the box on a high sticking penalty. The Flames right back on the power play, and we saw it happen right there as Toffoli turned his blade onto that puck.
And this is one of those ones where McCarr just misses the stick, but a stick comes up and you have to be in control of your stick. It is a right call by the referee.
So just what the Avs did not want to see happen.
Exactly.
They score on the remaining elements of the power play, and now Cale McCarr is in the penalty box for the first time this season. And if you're the Avs again, you get that next goal, you're right back in it, but that's got to be a bit deflating. You find yourself now down by 3 here in the Flames home opener, and Calgary came out with a lot of energy in this contest.
And Moj, this isn't a club that had 66 points last year and is hoping that this is one of those games you can look at to build around. They had 111 points last year. They're right now they're very comfortable with how they're playing against the Avalanche.
Well, that is for sure. The linesmen were fixing the ice just inside the Avs blue line.
And for the Colorado Avalanche, yes, no question, 4 power play goals last night. But that's the 3rd shorthanded goal against them, and they've given up a shorthanded goal. So, it's the specialty teams have not been great for the Avalanche to this point.
That is for sure. The Flames are 1 for 3 on the evening. 3 shots on goal in their power plays. Coming off a power play goal is Eric Johnson. Sends the puck up the boards and out. Well, the Avs are going to be gambling all over the place now. They're going to have to if they want to get back in this game. And we have a whistle here and an offside call. Hey, get your passport ready and follow the Stanley Cup on its summer journey around the globe. Avalanche 360 was there when players return home with family and friends to celebrate reaching the mountaintop of hockey. Sweden, Finland, Canada, and the U.S. No destination was too far. It's Avalanche 360 Summer of the Cup, which is spectacular, by the way. And tonight, it will immediately follow the Avalanche locker room report. Back into the Flame zone after the draw.
I got a text from both my girls. One lives in Virginia, and they were watching it. No, pardon me, Maryland. And the other one lives in Thailand. She was able to watch it. They say it's spectacular, the whole production.
Just magnificent. It was on before our broadcast tonight. It will be on after in case you missed it, so stay tuned. But it's a really special journey with all the players all around the globe, everywhere they went. And Paul and Peter did a terrific job with that. Sammy, everyone involved in putting that together. All of that footage and all the special moments. So if you're an Avalanche fan, you won't want to miss it as Calgary takes over on the far side. They'll switch places with Toffoli. Quick pass there intended for Lindholm. The Avs can't clear the zone, though. It was intercepted by Mans. And now Huberdeau right back up top for the defenseman. Calgary will survey into the circle. Hansen went out to meet him. And here's Huberdeau again. Awesome Calgary. Cross ice pass deflected away. Huberdeau picks it up, gives it up, shot, scores. Lindholm able to rip it into an open goal mouth. It's now a 5-1 Flames lead here early in the third period. And this one has gotten away very, very quickly.
Well, now you're starting to look at the additions for Calgary. Kadri's going to get an assist. That's 2 for him. Uyghur had a couple of assists earlier in the game, and Huberdeau is going to pick up an assist on this play. And we'll have a good look right. Look at the patience. That's a Huberdeau pass right there.
Well, Francouz has to go over to that post, and Huberdeau can go short side, but Lindholm was all by himself.
So that's 5 points from the 3 additions that they picked up in the summer.
And again, you get back to the PK. That's now 4 power play goals given up here in 2 games to begin the season by the Avs. Both goals last night for the Chicago Blackhawks were power play goals, and the Flames now 2 of 4 on the evening here at the Saddle Dome. And it's a 5-1 deficit. We'll get right back to center ice for the faceoff here.
Limoges at 5-1. You're looking down. The over is 6.5. But more importantly, Daryl Sutter is looking at, if it happens, the 700th victory in the National Hockey League. That includes a couple of Stanley Cups in 12 and 14.
Here's McKinnon on a breakaway. He'll race in, shoots and scores. Nathan McKinnon gets one right back as that puck found him in the neutral zone. He was off to the races, and he undresses Markstrom for his first goal of the season. It's now a 5-2 contest.
Flames' 5th goal, his first of the season, scored by number 20.
Well, Frankie's going to get an assist on this. And, you know, that's McKinnon cheating properly. Just a little bit, a step ahead of the defenseman. And when he's gone, can you imagine looking up saying, okay, go catch me? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, if you're Markstrom, though, and you got 29 racing in, he's coming at you so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Everything looks like it's going the speed of light. And then he just takes that puck and he flips it over your catching glove. Man, that's incredibly hard to stop. And you're not going to do it too often on Nathan McKinnon. So he gets one back here in the early going. The Avs have a little bit of life. See if they can put the pressure on a little bit. Nichushkin hounding in the offensive zone. And we'll keep an eye on the defensemen throughout the rest of this game and what their positioning is. Sammy G with a slap shot. Kick saved by Markstrom. Owen Byram now out there with Girard. Here's Byram. Gives it off Newhook. Twisted to the front of the net there, and it's blocked away by Markstrom. Set up the boards and out. Lucic bodied off there by Nichushkin. He'll turn it right back ahead for Rodriguez. Evan Rodriguez tried to go across the ice. Zadorov had back checked quite nicely and got in the way there. Now Val out of the corner and a penalty coming up. And so the Avs will get a power play chance. This will be a hook. It will be on Zadorov. And hard work by Val Nichushkin leads to an opportunity with the extra man.
Now here's your chance.
2 minutes for hooking.
It had gone down motion. They're 5-1. Calgary, power play goal. It looked good now. McKinnon gets a beautiful goal. And now the Avalanche on a power play. This is their chance to make it 5-3 and put some pressure on Calgary.
Let's see what the top unit can do. 4 power play goals last night against Chicago. And McKinnon with a draw near circle against Backlund. Rantanen had 4 helpers on the power play, which actually ties a National Hockey League record for an opening game. The only other guy to have 4 assists in a season opener on power play goals is Mario Lemieux. And for Stan to find that stat, you got to look hard. Mikko scoots it in just across the blue line. The Flames have collapsed upon him. Wide open is Cale Makar on the slot, and he shoots it wide. Now McKinnon on his opposite side. Nichushkin wanted to go up top. Backlund was able to get in the way there. That pass missed the target, and it's going to be an icing call on the Avalanche. Well, let's take a look at this Avalanche power play and how it's gone the last couple of years.
Right in the low, it averages out in the low 22, 23%. In the playoffs last year, Moj, that's when it broke out and it was huge. 32%, 20 power play goals in 20 games. But you look at the personnel, and you can see why maybe you're thinking it should be even a little higher.
Yeah, and with Gabe Landeskog on the mend and going to be back hopefully sometime soon. Big 92 only adds to the presence in front of the cage on the top unit. Here's Makar taking over. Lehkonen will deal it off. Cale looking in. Back to McKinnon at the dot. Trying to get through some traffic. Dubé had collapsed upon him. That one's off of Mangiapane and down it goes. So the top unit not able to get anything cooking yet. Fired back ahead. Rantanen shielding with his body. Uyghur with a big hit on Mikko Rantanen, and the Flames flip it out. Bashed off a stick as Lewis had followed Makar all the way deep into the Avalanche zone, and now the Flames just take control of their own end with Tanev. So second unit is on, but not much time to work with. 20 seconds to go in the Zadorov hooking penalty.
The Avalanche were looking for that big play. They just couldn't find it.
This is a big opportunity here as well. Newhook couldn't get that one through Anderson. Rodriguez pounds it off the boards, and the Flames are in the way. Gerard, no choice but to retreat as Backlund works it in. Power play is over. Zadorov is out of the box. Rodriguez in front of the Flames bench. Will chase deep into the zone. Uyghur trying to sidestep now. Bumped off. Cagliano couldn't find JT Compher. The Flames forced the turnover. The Avs return the favor. The outlet broken up. Cagliano will swipe it off the linesman. Now rink wide. Manson onside. Shoots. Save by Markstrom. He'll hold on. 13-19 to go here. Period at number 3. The Flames with a 5-2 lead, and Mackenzie Uyghur earning his cabbage with the Calgary Flames. Right here on your home of the Avalanche, Altitude TV, and we talked about it earlier. Minnesota tonight at home against the New York Rangers, their opener. They got drilled 7-3.
And the New York Rangers 3-1 victory over Tampa Bay, where they just outshot them, and Vasilevsky kept the Rangers at bay, but the Rangers were the better club, and obviously they were a better club again tonight.
Kreider had 2 this evening. Zibanejad had 2 in the opening game for the Rangers. I mean, that's a good hockey club. The Avs will be there in just a couple of weeks at Madison Square Garden.
I'll be fascinated to see, because the rumblings will not go away that Patrick Kane is, if there was a big fish that New York Rangers wanted to get, because the year that he played with Panarin in Chicago, Patrick Kane was MVP of the league. They are just bread and butter when they play together.
What could they possibly afford him?
Well, I mean, you know, that's all that fancy, money work that I have no idea about.
I was going to say, that's that fancy book learning there, Pete.
Yeah, exactly.
Fancy accountant work that you and I know nothing about.
Excel at.
Toffoli with a cross-eyes pass intended for Huberdeau. Avs break it up. McKinnon flashing in, gives it off. Mikko with a wrist shot, and it goes off the end of Markstrom's catching glove. For some reason, I got an Anderson in my head when it comes to Markstrom. He's been terrific here tonight for the Flames on a couple of big saves. Avs haven't pressed him too much, but they do have 18 shots on goal now. He's only had to make a handful of what I think are pretty darn good saves, and he's done it. Out it comes through Lehkonen back to the Calgary zone. Now Rudy tries the red line. Ritchie, who started off the scoring for the Flames tonight, dumps it in. That one pounded right through Lucic. Loose puck. Another hit on Newhook. Flames have targeted him a little bit here this evening. Took a couple shots in the head from Coleman earlier when he was down on the ice. Did Alex Newhook. Val awaiting that centering pass by the Flames. Out it comes through Makar. Shushkin working into the middle corner, trying to stay on back, trying to force that turnover. Val Shushkin. Well, he's chugging at you, Pete. He makes himself so wide.
Yeah.
And that's how he just ties players up. Fed ahead for Rodriguez. Bouncing puck again. I don't know what you do when you turn around and you take a quick peek and 13 is bearing down on you. He's big and he makes his legs wide and stick is out.
And he's churning. I mean, he is really working to come at you in a hurry.
We saw a lot of that in the Stanley Cup playoffs. One thing we didn't talk about when we talked about Val re-signing was what he did in that final and how he performed. Logan O'Connor couldn't get the shot on net as Michael Stone got the stick in the way. But Pete, he had a bone that was in half. And a stoppage in play there as the puck is in the far corner in the Calgary zone. Well, hold on 1 second. Let's take a look. Yeah, we're okay in that far corner. Don't wait to find a genie lamp. Grant your own wishes. The Powerball jackpot is $454 million, so get your tickets today. Right, there is Steve Kazari. Looks like we have a penalty coming up here.
He's pointing towards the Calgary Flames.
Well, the puck was pinned, Pete, but I don't think it was. So it's too many men on the Flames is what it is.
Okay. Well,
it was sort of bizarre. It didn't look like the puck was pinned. The whistle blew, but the Flames had a bunch of guys racing toward it in the far corner. Let's take a look. And this is even math you can do. Oh, there you go, Pete. Oh, there's a bunch of guys out there.
There's a whole bunch of red out there. Anytime you're all in one zone, usually there's a dangler or somebody's straggler out by the blue line. They were deep and ready to go. No wonder they're playing so well defensively.
If the Avs want to get back in this game, this is their chance right here. This is a must-do. And Backlund just hounding the car on the forecheck. Kale will bring it in himself, but he lost the handle. I mean, that's one of those things, too. It's so noticeable. I mean, you look down and it looks like there's just 100 guys out on the ice. You don't even have to do the adding. You just know. McKinnon. Lehkonen drops it off, and now Makar winds his way in. Mikko couldn't find the stick of Nichushkin. It was down on the ice in the slot, but that pass just a little bit too far out in front. Lehkonen got tied up, and the Flames short-handed, dump it down deep through Mangiapane. Well, nothing doing so far for the Avs on this power play, and it's almost half over.
The Avalanche could use one of those Mikko Rantanen and magic moments with this quick shot short side.
Tried to push it in front, but Lewis with an easy clear up the boards. McKinnon had to retreat to the neutral zone because the Flames were going to take control of that puck. Here comes another rush for Taves. He's replaced Cale Makar in the top unit momentarily, and Taves will have it. Now we'll switch spots. Taves walks and finds McKinnon one-timer, and his stick shatters in half. That puck bounced through the crease as well on the rebound. New twig for McKinnon. Val is in. Here is Mikko in front. Redirected. Score! Val Oh, Nichushkin a give and go to the front of the cage. It's a power play goal. And the Avs get within 2. It's now a 5-3 game. And for the Choo-Choo Train, his 3rd goal in 2 games to begin the campaign.
Well, you just watch this power play, and he is going to be so effective all season long because hands don't go away. Look at that by Rantanen. He just like lofts it up softly over.
But what a smart hockey move by Nichushkin. He gives it to Rantanen, and he says, I'll go right to the top of the crease.
Yeah, but you know the key to the smart hockey move was? Give it to Rantanen. Just here. And then I'm going to have my stick on the ice. It's like lifting an anvil. You can't do it. And just keep driving.
The Avs are back in this thing. Last 2 tallies. That's a power play goal. Mikko the only assist on it. Now the Avs have 8 minutes and 4. Forwards intended for Toffoli. Checked by Byram, and out it comes. Huberdeau racing, and that puck just trickled into the trapezoid so Francouz could play it. Owen Byram started off the scoring tonight, 1:39 into the game, and here he comes again. Batted down. Flames with a quick outlet intended for Dubé. That was up in the air. Mangiapane at the red line now. Couldn't hang on. The Avs will reset. The Avs have a little bit of life here. You can tell in their legs. Manson got the red line there. Tanev pounded by Cogliano. Watch this line go to work, and it just goes off of Manson, who would cut in and watch out. Here come the Flames back. EJ directing traffic, and a good back check by Cogliano. The Avs looking to get numbers of their own the other way. Rodriguez is in, and the drop pass finds the rookie. That one goes through Cogliano. 2-on-1 for the Flames in Fire Wagon hockey at the Saddle Dome. Save Francouz. Batted up and out by Rodriguez, and both teams want to regroup here a little bit.
But the faster, the quicker, the better it is for the Colorado Avalanche, because you want to see if you can't create a turnover, just a little mistake, and get within 1.
Manson with a pin in the corner. Myers with the outlet, and McKinnon's got fresh legs. Lehkonen back to McKinnon, trying to cut through. Puck comes to Lehkonen, he'll shoot, and is saved by Markstrom as he holds on McKinnon. Trying to cut through traffic, and just couldn't quite do it as the Flames gathered in on him. Val gets the Avs within 2.
And here's the quick turnover for the Calgary Flames. And the Francouz is up to the challenge here, because this would have ended it. Absolutely would have ended it. And the Avalanche stay within 2. You know when you're a goaltender, your club's down by a couple of goals, you're going to get plays like that.
An assist has been added to Arturi Lehkonen on the Nichushkin goal. Makar. Mikko with a long wrist shot. That skipped wide. So Arturi Lehkonen with another point to begin the year. Rantanen tried to dangle through Backlund in a twisting motion, but that went nowhere. Now Trevor Lewis will dump it in. Well, the Avs have shown, Peter, in the last several seasons a great propensity. As that puck was steered to the side of the crease. Francouz had vacated its blue paint for a while, chopped up and out for Taves, and I'll finish my thought as the Avs bring it in. On the boards, McKinnon gives it up. Mikko finds Kale, walks in and shoots, and a save by Markstrom. And that was directed top shelf, and he reached up and got a piece of it. That was Cale Makar, prime territory.
Makar walked in, waited, a little bit of a sort of a funny play. And all of a sudden, he's got that puck in motion. That is a great save.
That's a really good save.
Wow.
But the Avs have shown a tremendous propensity to draw penalties. They keep their legs moving in the way they play the game and the way they skate. You still have 6:27 left, and we'll see how this progresses here. But they don't win that draw, and that's tough. Toffoli scooted it right through the center faceoff circle. Back to the Calgary zone, and that was Nichushkin cutting in, broken up by Tanev. Otherwise, Val would have been sprung. It's Byram in the corner. Lindholm tried to push it up to the point, but now it's Huberdeau. Quick centering pass to Foley and cut between the circles. Good play there by Sammy G. Let that one go through, unable to make the play. JT turns it out, and here is Nichushkin again. Quickly off to Rodriguez, and that's dumped to the front of the cage over the head of Markstrom, who reached up. Comfort had a bit of a quiet night as he's pinned by Weegar on the far side. You see that JT is now skating between Rodriguez and Nichushkin. Dubé to the red line. Cut off by Manson, and the Avs will retreat.
Most suddenly the shots are 26-23.
The pace certainly was picked up. McKinnon's terrific breakaway goal, and now with a power play talent. Can they have any more luck here? O'Connor flings it off. Flames get back to their zone quickly. Now Nazem Kadri pivots in the corner, able to get that one up the boards to Ritchie. Flames will get a change. Here's Cale Makar back on the ice for the Avs. Time though becoming a factor. 4 minutes and 42 seconds left. We'll keep an eye on Pavel Francouz and see what Jared Bednar wants to do as we get even closer. Mikko Rantanen trying to keep control. Racing is Lehkonen, and he got cut off by Hannafin. Anderson has had a big game for the Flames, but it's taken away. McKinnon flips it through. Makar works it in, and he blew an edge trying to cut through the circle. Oh, that was almost one of those beautiful plays.
I mean, McKinnon just read the play, saw Makar.
McKinnon up top himself, shielded. Now Makar's shot ricocheted off Lucic's hip. And that one was not on net. Cut down by McKinnon again, and we have a stoppage in play. It was played with a high stick. And that'll bring us to our final timeout of period number 3. The Avs down by 2. We'll see if they have any magic left. Tonight includes a pregame clinic for girls interested in trying hockey, special features, and in-game roles by women all night long. To learn more, just go to co.hockey. That's co.hockey. Well, Avalanche fans here hoping that they've got a little magic left in the tank. They're down by 2 tallies. And they've got 4 minutes to work with to try and get even. Again, we'll keep an eye on Pavel Francouz and see what Jared Bednar wants to do. Taves swipes it in. It took a funny bounce off one of the dividers behind the Calgary net. Foley playing pitch and catch, stepping in the way there. Newhook, but couldn't control that puck. Forced Newhook to go back to his own zone to get it. Now Bowen Byron looking for a quick transition back to the Calgary end. As the honors himself to dump it in. Avs getting a partial change here. Comfer is strong on the puck on the near side. It's kicked away from him, and McCarr could not keep that one in at the point. Minutes and 10 seconds now left. Wrapped around now. Rantanen, Backlund step in the way. The shot was going off the side of the cage. Now Holman absorbs one from McKinnon. Avs come away with it. As Ben Myers will swing it off to the Avs #1 center. Val couldn't handle that pass. Got to think that Francouz, Pete, will be headed to the bench here pretty quickly.
Yeah, probably within, as it gets to about 2 minutes.
There's Rantanen trying to give it down low. And there goes Francouz to the bench. Puck is in the Flame zone. Lehkonen just couldn't get his stick on that quick little pass. Loose puck. McKinnon picks it up. Works it away from Kadri. Dumps it around, and Mikko awaits. Swings it up top for Taves. Val back to Rantanen. Avs looking for space. That quick shot cut down by Lehkonen. Lays on McKinnon's stick. Here's McKinnon. Back to Mikko it goes. Straight up top, Rantanen. Back to McKinnon. Mikko looking for open space. Back to McKinnon. Did not shoot that puck. Probably nothing to look at, and it's not free. Into the neutral zone. Dubé flips it ahead, and that puck rolls wide of an empty net. And it will be an icing call on the Calgary Flames. 1:53 to go in the hockey game here in the third period.
And the referee making absolute sure that the tired players for the Calgary Flames, because there was a little bit of a mishmash at the Calgary Flame bench. They're trying to sneak some guys on.
Well, just look for the guys with the tons of You say, okay, you see your ton. Okay, you're coming back up. McKinnon stays on. Cale Makar has returned to the ice. 5 forwards and 1 D-man for Jared Bednarz. McKinnon with a draw against Calgary near circle. Flames win it. Giving up for Mangiapane. Makar with a diving swipe at that puck, and they have to take control. Rodriguez couldn't handle that long pass, and Uyghur bumps it ahead. Avs got to get onside. Hit Lehkonen in the gut. Makar takes over. Tried to flip it in at Tanev. Right there to glove it down. We'll call that a hand pass.
Okay. Hand pass should come right deep in the zone now.
And it will. Bednar has a timeout. I think he's going to use it, Pete. He's got the chalkboard out at his bench as we look at Tanev in the Calgary zone. So the Avs will want to talk things over here and give all the big guns a little bit of a breather with 1 minute and 32 seconds left in the third.
You certainly can't blame Tanev, but you're standing at the blue line. Puck comes, bang, you pass it to one of your teammates, and all of a sudden it's in deep in your own zone.
It's either that or turn and chase, and he was in no mood to turn and go chase that puck deep into his own end. So I think the instincts there for Tanev took over. Jared Bednar animated on his bench, drawing up what he wants his team to do. The Avs will be off tomorrow, back at practice on Saturday, and then Sunday we'll head to St. Paul, Minnesota for the first matchup of the year against the Wild. Wild had a very successful season last year as well. Bowed out to...
They are handcuffs.
A little bit with those 2 contracts.
Yeah, with the two contracts. Was it $12 or $14 million?
Sent down the ice after the draw. It's an icing call on the Flames, and Calgary wanted no part of that. So they kill off a couple of more seconds. 1:26 now to go here in the third period. The Avs have to get the puck at the net. Shots are in favor of Calgary still, 27-23, but at one point it was 14-2. For it, scrambled for it, pushed far side to Foley, a 2-hand whack at it, able to get it out. Huberdeau, chased by Makar. Nobody home for the Flames in front of the Avalanche net, and Nichushkin able to give it off for his defenseman. Long stretch pass, Rodriguez bumps it for Mikko. And he's poke checked at the blue line. Lehkonen, tied up, wants McKinnon. McKinnon trying to find through Lindholm. Does, he's so strong. Lehkonen couldn't center it, now swings it off this side of the net. Tanev with a flip. Here's Jonathan Huberdeau. Couldn't get it out. Makar finds McKinnon. Wanted to pass it off. Sticks are tied up. Again McKinnon. Back to Cale Makar. Marched away. Rodriguez put it in front. Went off a body, and now here's to Foley to flip it straight down the ice. It will bounce and roll wide of the net, and that's an icing call. 28.2 seconds left. So you see how Calgary protected there. They flashed out a little bit to the guy with the puck, and then they went home right in front of the net to protect their goalie.
Well, they've got to be happy with their performance here tonight. Opening night, new faces, big time new faces.
Things also set up pretty well for Calgary. The Avs playing last night and arriving about 3:30 in the morning in Calgary. One-timers! Glove saved by Markstrom. McKinnon rocked back and let that one fly.
You know, people say you're making excuses. No, you're putting factors into the game. One of the factors of tonight's game is this is the home opener for the Calgary Flames. They're going to have a lot of emotion around this game. It's just different things.
New players wanting to show what they can do in front of the hometown crowd. Early on, the Avs were certainly tired. There's a penalty in Lehkonen. It's going to be a hook. He's not exactly happy about it, but that will do it here tonight. With 20.2 seconds left, Francouz will get back in his crease.
And the faceoff comes all the way down to the left of Francouz. Lehkonen is off to a really good start. 4 points in 2 games for the Colorado Avalanche.
Anderson went down pretty quickly in that quarter. So the Flames back on the power play. This will be their 5th of the evening, even though it's 20 seconds. So far, they're 2 for 4 with only 3 shots on goal. Manson, the boards and outs. Down to the final 10 seconds. Crowd here at the Scotiabank Saddledome happy with what they saw in the home opener from their team. As we've come to the end of game number 2 of the season for the Avalanche, they fall to the Flames by a final score of 5-3.
2 more games against these Flames, one in Colorado, one back here. One in January, one in February. So we had a little look right now. Let's see where they are in a couple of months.
Yeah, Avs will have tomorrow off and get back in practice coming up on Saturday. We'll travel to Minnesota Sunday for a game on Monday. And here are the 3 stars of the game, all presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
And Rasmus Andersson, Moji is becoming a force in this game. He's big, he's strong, he reads the play well. Rieger has to be happy with the fact that he had a couple of assists in tonight's game. He rounds out not just the 6, but the top 4 for Calgary. And then Nathan McKinnon, the goal and assist, and he was going all night long.
Yeah, had his first goal of the season this evening, but not quite enough for the Avs to make the comeback. And our final score here in Calgary, it's the Flames 5 and the Avalanche 3. We are back with you again Monday night with the Avs visit the Minnesota Wild. Join us for complete coverage beginning at 5:30 p.m. Monday evening. Now, stick around as we get you to Kyle and Riker back in the studio. They will take you home the rest of the way with the Avalanche Locker Room Report.
You don't want to make excuses, but you had an 8-10 puck drop last night. Travel, go through customs, 3:45 a.m. to the hotel, a 7:40